Hello friends. So in my other video we talked about how to work with the JSON objects, right? And then we also talked about how is it more similar to hash map, and we did some comparison with hash map versus the JSON objects and I showed the difference between these data types. Also we did retrieve the values, and then we did some comparison, right? We pulled out the values and we saw what it looks like and how do we fetch the data from JSON. So in this video I'm going to talk more about doing like a quick parse. So like here what we did is we create one set of a map. We simply create a map, just print it out. We did have another set of the JSON objects. We did printed it out. And then now if I want to do move more down, I'm going to remove this because I want to talk more about the JSON array now. So this is how your JSON was structured, and I'm going to remove this map piece. Okay, so there's nothing but just simply data. So JSON array, so let's run this first so that you know what it is there. So it's pretty clean now, right? There's no more map. So this is like totally JSON format. So here, if I want to do something called array, right? Array is like, if you want to talk about array like an array list, it would be right, something like that, right? So let's import this array as a util package. So list dot add, let's say C. I think that's more than enough. So if I want to print this value now, right, it will be just the list. And similarly to this list, if I want to do something called JSON array, all caps, okay, JSON A, all caps. I need to import this with org.json. So let's do JAR. So just like you do it with the hash map versus JSON, both use the put, but JSON array also takes the put method, right? Dot put. But then here you would be passing the value. You can just pass the string directly. A. Let's put this both of these values. Okay, instead of add, I'm going to do the put. That's the only thing it will take. So now going to print JSON array also. So if I want to do this, let's print JSON array versus list, and you will see the difference. Okay. So here if you see from the JSON array, it has the double quote. Every single value within the array has a double quote. If you see the list has no double quote, exactly like it was with the hash map, right? So hash map had no quotes but looked exactly same as it was, except the hash map has a colon and this one hash map has an equal sign between key and a value, and here JSON objects has quotes, colon, right? Not the semicolon but the colon. So this is just to show you the difference between list and the JSON array, so which is pretty much the similar thing. It's not exactly similar, but it works very close. I was just showing you this both comparisons just so that you can understand that it is, hey, JSON is not like a big earth or something, right? So just trying to show you more similar things that already existed before JSON stuffs existed, right? So that you would easily understand or it just reminds you whenever you're trying to write both of this. These are one piece, right? And the next thing is your JSON objects. If you want to see how the JSON objects would look like, let me bring you up some notepad and show you some kind of format the JSON objects is. So here, if you see, right, here's the array. Array is book. Book's array. Book is the array attribute, the key that contains the array, but this is the JSON array. And then each of this array, if you see the curly braces, whatever is inside the curly braces is the JSON objects. Each of these JSON objects, right, that resides inside the array. So if you see here, we have this format called JSON array, but this does not have the curly braces. They are simply the values for the array, right? But then you may be able to see the data that is inside the JSON, that is the JSON objects already having a key value pair as the object inside the array, and there may be multiple of those types of group that reside into the response, right? So don't get scared with those. We're going to go through there. So before that, let me add you one quick thing that you've never seen before. So if I want to do this list inside the JSON, which we already built, right, JSON objects, here if we want to print the JSON objects, that's how it would currently print. But now if I want to add this JSON, add this array inside this JSON, and then here's how it look like. JSON.put again, and then in this time you'd have to have a key, okay, because you cannot simply pass the array saying, okay, this is the array. That some key has to represent that array also. So JSON array, right? So that key we have to pass. So that could be, for example, what are we passing? Alphabet, right? For example, because I'm not having any more data except ABC, right? So then JAR is the array. I can simply pass that array. Now this array will be inside this bracket, okay, inside this curly bracket. Let's see. Let's print this out, okay. Here I'll write JSON data. Let's say entire JSON data, right? And this time I need to print out the JSON. So now JSON also contains here, because JSON is just like a hash map, right? It contains this data with the key value plus it contains the array, okay? Okay, now if you see here the entire JSON data, I'm going to show you here. It had this array, right? So if I want to use this inside that JSON lint, and then I print it up, you see it's a valid JSON, right? And it would look like this. Alphabet is the key for these arrays that is inside this JSON object, and which is a valid. You have a student name, value, key, value, right? And then the key is the alphabet, but that is the alphabet being key for the array of the values, not the key value, right? So that's one thing you need to know about. One more step up, right, to the JSON objects. So in order to make you more other thing clear, so let me go ahead and remove this, all of this unneeded stuff that I don't need this anymore, right? List, I'm going to remove this also for now. I don't need list. So this will just help you understand much clearly, right? I don't need array also. So JSON.put alphabet, that I need because that's the place where I'm actually inserting this value, this JSON array I'm inserting inside this JSON, right? Now if I print this again, it's going to just do this last. So new line, so it just takes too much space, looks like. and then it will just be like this, right? We did that before already, we checked it. It's the same value, same data, value JSON, right? Alphabet ABC. Now let's go further down. So what I did here is I created a JSON objects. Inside the JSON objects I inserted one simple array, which is a JSON array. Now next thing I want to show you here is there are other ways also you can parse the data. Parse is basically converting, right? Parse some different format of the collections into the JSON objects or the JSON array. So now let me comment this piece. So array closer to array list, right? When I say array, it's a JSON array, right? Hash map to JSON objects, because this is a key value, right? This is the arrays of values, right? So let's demonstrate that. We're going to parse, we're going to create a array list as well as a hash map, and we're going to parse this value, right? So here if I see, I'm going to just add one more line again. Both are the string types, right? New hash map, right? Let's import that again, because I remove those imports every time. And then I'm going to just enter these pieces here, right? Now instead of JSON, I'm making that as a map. Okay, now I don't need this piece. I'm commenting for now because in future we'll need it. Here I'm just passing the maps, okay? Because JSON objects constructor takes the parameters for the maps too, and whenever you pass this here, it will automatically convert, and this object will just return all of this data converted into the JSON object, right? Same thing like you have an array here, right? I'm going to add another call list. So let's import this also with the util. So I'm going to add this piece here. And I'll also pass that value, and I'll comment this out, okay? So here it will be add because it's an array list. Okay, so what I did is I simply created the Java collections. One is the hash maps, one is the list, okay? List will convert into the JSON array. Hash map will convert into the JSON objects. So here I don't have to do anything here. This piece is already the JSON array. I don't have the data as the JSON array. This data is coming from the list. This data is coming from the map. Okay, I hope it's not that confusing, and I hope you're understanding it right. So let me just run this out, and you will see the same exact value, nothing different. Okay, nothing different here. You can still do this comparison with your favorite tool called JSONlint, and it will do the same thing. So that's one way you could parse the data from collections into the JSON objects or the JSON array. Okay, that's one way you can do this. If you go to any interviews, you might get these questions. This is very tricky. And next thing is, in order to parse this, you cannot use with the other library. Okay, you make sure you have this org.json, right? Org.json, this library you have to import. If you have the JSON, that does things differently. Okay, and that's one thing I would like to just show you. So in your instances, if you already have the collections of the data that is in place, then don't try to just add this as a JSON array. This is just too much of, it's not like 2-line or 3-line of code, right? In your real world, you might have hundreds of lines, and you're not gonna write like this. If you already have a collections, just fetch that in and just bump that in inside this value, right? You have an array list, just put it into array list. You have a hash map, just put it inside the JSON objects, and then we're gonna manipulate those later, right? We can put however we want it afterwards, but first just prepare the JSON array or the JSON objects. First, make sure what type of the data you actually need, right? Let me maximize this screen so you know, you see the full view of this method. So here, this is the full view, and you have a JSON objects that is actually converting from here, and then you have the list, array list is coming from here. So just put this commented line, ignore the commented line, okay, for now. And then I have this little note here, says JSON array list, hash map, JSON objects, okay, they work very closer, and then I simply print it out for now, okay. I think this video is a little bit lengthy than I thought it would, so I'm going to add another video in order to show you how you'd be able to pull the data from the JSON array like you did from JSON objects, okay. So that's the next piece we're going to talk about, and then we'll be having another couple of videos on JSON objects, because this is very crucial. You really need to know every aspects of these JSON files. Okay, I think this video is well enough, so we will continue into the next video. Thank you very much for continuing watching my videos, and please, if you haven't done so, please subscribe my channel and support my channel, and we look forward to add more videos, and we'll see you there then. Thank you very much, and continue watching.